Our next setup in the lunge progression, based right off of our split squat, is going to be a reverse step lunge. What we're adding in here is a more dynamic version of that split squat, making it more of a traditional lunge, but we are going to be moving backwards and down at the same time. As we talked about in our split squat progression, we're only challenging our clients in that one plane of motion, moving straight up and straight down. So with that reverse step, we start up nice and tall, great posture, step back, straight down, up together. We like to teach this by segmenting the movement first. Step, make sure you have your balance, come down, make sure you have your balance, up and together. As your clients become more proficient with the exercise, they can just step back, come down, and up all in one movement. It is your decision whether you want to alternate or have them stay on one side at each time for each repetition. Okay? From there, we are going to use the exact same loading pattern that we use with our split squats. So we start with body weight. From there, we go from that goblet position, focusing on nice big step back, 60-70% of my weight in my front leg. Want that back knee to just about touch the floor, drive forward off of our front leg. From there, we have our weight at our side. Nice big reverse step, looking at it from a lateral perspective, step back, down, up together. Just like that split squat progression, we want the back leg directly underneath that hip, or very close to it, so that we're not overextending at the hip, or having too narrow of a stance where that knee comes forward, heel comes up off the floor. From there, just like our split squats, weight elevated in the front rack position, so as to challenge our anterior core stability. From there, we go more into single-sided movements to highlight different areas of our core. So again, we are going to say an ipsilateral or same side as the lead foot, and then move into a contralateral reverse step lunge, and then load that the same way, but from a front rack position. Again, front rack means anterior core and some lateral core as well. So abdomen, obliques, starting in that ipsilateral loading pattern, moving into our contralateral loading pattern. From there, we can add some rotation. Again, want to segment the movement, reverse step, drop into a good range of motion, rotate, back to front and up. From there, it'll be down together, rotate and up, and then lastly, one fluid movement of rotating as I come down, making sure that as I rotate, I am just creating a small amount of rotation. I'm not trying to rotate this kettlebell beyond my hip. If anything, it stops just before my hip, right in line with my torso. The last two progressions with our reverse lunge is the same as our split squats. We are going to do a barbell reverse lunge and then also a front rack reverse lunge. So again, best to start this from a squat rack, but we place that bar across the upper back. Reverse step first, balance, control down, control up together. As that client becomes more proficient, down, up together, and then one fluid motion. Same from that front racked position. Step, down, up together, a little more fluidity, stepping down, up together, and then one fluid motion up and down. One key note with our reverse lunge is that it can take a little less pressure on the knee as opposed to a walking lunge. This reverse step really prevents us from getting over the front of our toes with that walking lunge, which we'll talk about in our next video. But one key point here is that if you do have clients who experience knee pain with doing a walking lunge, bring them back to a reverse lunge, because that movement pattern tends to deload the knee quite a bit.